Also neue Titel?
What are you about, Mr. Bloom?
Unfortunately, my old friend Buck Mulligan had to go away. But Leopold Bloom is here with his dog. And just to explain, he'll go for a little walk in the city, but we'll also hear something about Joyce's women. Because Joyce had a few women in his life, doing verschiedene Sachen. Sagen wir so. So maybe we might hear the first story from my darling wife Molly Bloom and her lover. I'm not supposed to know, ich weiß nicht, dass Blaze Boylan mit meiner Frau zusammen ist. Ich soll das nicht machen. Ich bin der Ehemann. Aber so ist das. Maybe we'll hear something about the women.
Guten Abend, wir möchten Sie heute vertraut machen mit den Frauen, die im literarischen und sonstigen Leben von James Joyce eine wichtige Rolle gespielt haben. Die erste, die wir hier erwähnen, ist Harriet Shaw Weaver. Diese bescheidene Tochter eines englischen Landarztes verfügte über eine Erbschaft, die es ihr ermöglichte, Joyce erheblich finanziell zu unterstützen. Miss Shaw war Redakteurin einer kleinen, jedoch renommierten literarischen Zeitschrift, The Egoist, und nahm das Risiko eines Prozesses auf sich, indem sie seinen ersten Roman, A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, herausgab. 25 Jahre lang hat sie Joyce unterstützt, damit er sich auf sein literarisches Schaffen konzentrieren konnte, befreit von der Notwendigkeit, sein Brot als Englischlehrer zu verdienen. Wir überlassen ihr das Wort.
So as Vanessa said, the modest daughter of an English country doctor, Harriet Shaw Weaver, came across James Joyce's work at the beginning of World War I. She was then editor of the small distinguished British review, The Egoist, and at the risk of prosecution, this shy woman published his first novel, A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. For years before she met him, and throughout Joyce's lifetime, she kept the wolf from his door and the sheriff from his personal belongings. Gifts of money amounts to thousands of pounds, and Joyce, a suspicious fellow at best of times, rewarded her by appointing her his literary executor after his death. He trusted her completely.
So, curiously, Mr. Joyce and I did not meet together face to face for 8 years. Now, August 1922, yes, that's 20 years ago, here in London for the first time, accompanied by Mrs. Joyce, to consult an eye specialist regarding the failing condition of his sight. He had glaucoma. By this time, of course, he was living in Paris. Sylvia Beach, a young American, had just published his novel Ulysses, and he was the toast of Paris. Whenever I was there, I was invited to Mr. Joyce's home, and we had some very jolly evenings. Mr. Joyce would sing and tell stories. He was a great raconteur, and his home was always full of people, artists and writers and poets. Mrs. Virginia Woolf found my presence somewhat incongruous because I was in the habit of wearing woolen mittens. Mr. Joyce, on the other hand, didn't care if one turned up wearing a potato sack. He'd frequently be seen himself going to the opera in dinner dress and a pair of tennis shoes. But whereas Mrs. Virginia Woolf was an intellectual, Mr. Joyce was a genius. Yes, it is true that I gave him financial assistance over the years. I did so because he needed it. People have asked me why I began my financial support of him in an anonymous fashion. Simple answer is that I didn't know how else to do it. You see, I, though not wealthy, had been blessed at a certain point in my life with that phenomenon known as an inheritance, gift of the gods, one might say. Of course, I've put all of Mr. Joyce's letters and papers away for safekeeping because of this dreadful war. but this one is my favorite. Dear Miss Weaver, a nice collection of legends could be made about me. Here are some. My family in Dublin believe I enriched myself in Switzerland during the war, the last war, by espionage work for one or both combatants. Triestans, seeing me emerge from my house for about 20 minutes every day and walk to the same point, the General Post Office and back, circulated the rumour, now finally believe that I am a cocaine victim. Somebody here said of me, they call him a poet. He appears to be interested chiefly in mattresses, and in fact I was. With kindest regards, James Joyce. Our friendship continued throughout the 30s while he was putting together his last great work, Finnegan's Wake, for which he seemed to have invented a whole new language. Anna Livia Plurabelle, his name for the River Liffey. On the banks of the Liffey, a gossiping Dublin washerwoman tells the story of this wonderful river, which rises in a small pool in the mountains near Dublin. First we hear of her as a young woman adorning herself for her many lovers, and then finally, old and tired yet full of life, she flows through the city of Dublin down to the sea. Now Mr. Joyce repeatedly assured me that Anna Livia Plurabelle was designed to be read aloud. It is the sound which is important, he used to say, the sound of the river.
The Liffey, the lovely Liffey through the
triangle. When jingle, jangle, all along the banks of the Royal Canal, the lines were sleeping, Humpty Gussie was creeping, as I lay there weeping for my girl's son on the old triangle. When jingle, jangle, all along the banks of the Royal Canal.
Yeah. Now, I have a little mass remembrance thing here, and it tells me that Paddy had been to Father Conroy for confession on Saturday night, and on the Sunday night, drunk, he had wanted to go out to Tunney's for more drink, but he couldn't find his other boot. He could only find one boot, so couldn't go. On his deathbed, he told his eldest son Patrick, who's here tonight, in memory of his father, known as Patsy, to be a good son to his mother. Patsy could see that his father was trying to say other things, but he couldn't hear what they were. According to the report of Dingham's funeral in the Evening Telegraph of 16th of June 1904, the same day as today, Paddy died. He died on the 14th. The deceased gentleman was most popular and a genial personality in city life. All that means is he drunk all the time and bought everybody many drinks. But he is one of the faithful departed, and we must sing a song in memory of the death of Paddy Dingham.
Rattled by the glimmerman, the bogeyman, the holy man, living in the shadows are gone, rotten like the coppers in the greasy film. Battle till time stood still.
wo ich einen Teil daraus vorlese. Und zwar heißt die The Wandering Rocks. Und der Inhalt der Handlung besteht, also dieses Teil des Buches besteht im Prinzip darin, dass mehrere stadtbekannte Menschen oder auch unbekannte Menschen opposite Ruggie O'Donoghue's, Master Patrick Aloysius Dignam, pouring the pound of half of Mangan's, late fairy-glass pork steaks he had been sent for, went along warm Wicklow Street, dawdling. It was too bloomin' dull, sitting in the parlour with Mrs. Storr and Mrs. Quigley and Mrs. McDowell and the blind down, and they all had their sniffles, sipping sups of the superior tawny sherry Uncle Barney brought from Tunney's. And they eating crumps of the cottage fruit cake, jawing the whole bloomin' time and singing silent. Master Dignam walked along Nassau Street, shifted the pork steaks to his other hand. His collar sprang up again, and he tucked it down. The bloomin' stud was too small for the buttonhole of the shirt. Bloomin' into it. He met schoolboys with satchels. I'm not going tomorrow either. Stay away till Monday. He met other schoolboys. Do they notice I'm in mourning? Uncle Barney said he'd get it into the paper tonight. Then they all see it in the paper and read my name, printed, and Pa's name. His face got all grey, instead of being red like it was, and there was a fly walking over it, up to his eye.